Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers. On this extra special Thanksgiving episode of Transmissions, our gang of gregarious gentlemen talk about the new Drift model kit from Flame Toys. We hear about a new set of legend-sized Seekers from Newage, and Wave 5 of Transformers Siege is hitting store shelves. Today is Wednesday, November 27th, 2019, and this is episode 357 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that uses only the very best Sharpies when hastily scrawling out our perfect show notes. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
This is the way. How are you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
How you doing? Let's talk Transformers. I have spoken.
All right. Hope everyone's having a good week. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans listening, as that is coming. That's tomorrow if you're listening to the show on Wednesday. And we give thanks every week to our Donatreons, because you guys help us keep the show going, and we really appreciate your support every week. And if you want to become a Donatreon and contribute on Patreon or PayPal, you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. Or if you want to buy some merchandise, Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving comes Black Friday, and TeePublic has a big Black Friday sale all this week. So if you go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop, you can go to our TeePublic store and buy some merchandise. And everything there is 35% off. So $13 t-shirts all on our store throughout all of TeePublic. So if you buy anything through our link, that'll help us out.
You mean to tell me that Black Friday originally started out as just one day? It's already started and will go until February.
When America was founded, it was one day, and now it's a whole month.
Yep.
It's like 3 months, guys.
Well, and then now you have like the July version where they try to do it in the summer.
Yeah,
too.
was it Prime Day now?
Right.
Prime Day is just Amazon.
It's Christmas in July, preceded by Black Friday in July. At least in Canada, we still have Boxing Day, which is our own thing. I mean, I think the UK has it because we stole it from them, but it's this Black Friday thing has now seeped into our situation over here. So it's
you don't
ridiculous.
Even have a holiday.
It just
you got to go to
starts.
Black Friday after work.
We do. We have to actually go to work, and we see all the people that are sitting out and waiting for stuff to go on, open up, and yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't understand how this one day has turned into months and months of deals.
It's late stage capitalism. Best not to think about it. Anyway, we should also mention our friend Superstar K-Girl, her store, teepublic.com/user/Superstar K. You can also get some of her shirts. She's done a lot of artwork for us in the past, and some of her designs are up on our store, and she's got stuff on her store too. So check it out. And before we get into the toys, want to remind you that Empire of Rust episode 11 is out this week. The Gnomes Made Me Do It. So that should already be in your feed if you're listening to the main feed, or you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/rust to get just the Empire of Rust feed. So the action RPG, Transformers action RPG, done by our awesome producer Mike Ordway, continues. So give it a listen. All right, so let's talk about some toys.
So first up this week, I'm going with a new prototype that came up, and this is continuing with the one that I was talking about. I think it was last week, but I'm having a hard time keeping them all straight. But this is the next figure in the Devil Savior combiner. This is their DS-04 Smash. And it's the Revenge of the Fallen long haul prototype. And this is their Revenge of the Fallen Devastator. Their figure is not going to be called Devastator, obviously, trademarks, but it's going to be called Troublemaker, which I still think it's kind of it's an okay name. It takes a couple, there's not as many teeth in this one, but it's still an okay name. So anyway, this is Smash. He's the long haul figure, obviously a foot for Devastator. And he looks pretty beefy. So he's the 4th of 7. Remember, there are 7 figures in this Devastator, opposed from the 8 in the Studio Series Devastator. He's that big, huge dump truck that you see on those like mining, construction sites. And his robot mode. It looks pretty darn good. It looks really close to the CG model for Revenge of the Fallen. And I think comparatively to the Studio Series 1, I think they look pretty close. It does not appear as though it has rubber tires, but that's unfortunate, being as it's a third-party figure. But it does look like it has a pretty significant like shell, like the dump truck, like the dump bed is pretty solid. His leg mode though is pretty good. I like how solid it looks. It looks to have a really stiff knee joint and a little bit of an ankle tilt on it as well. So that's also pretty good. Yeah, this is the 4th figure, guys, from Troublemaker, Devil Savior. What do you think?
I think this looks really good. It does look like it has a bit of a backpack. We don't really get a good side view, but just from the looks that we do get, a lot of stuff is stored in the back, or at least kind of a lot of the mass or the weight.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I like the way the truck looks, and like you said, the foot mode looks really good. It doesn't look quite like a mess like that kind of center figure that we looked at last week can be.
Oh yes, yeah. Just trying to throw a comparison image in here for Studio Series Devastator. So take a look there, and you can see the bit of a comparison. Studio Series Devastator is a bit more of a. He's got a bit more chunk to him. Mm-hmm. He takes a second helping at supper.
Yeah, and you can see like the differences between the two. I really think I like the choices that they made on this Devil Savior version.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Obviously Devil Savior being third party, we've talked about it numerous times. Third parties don't have to adhere to child safety laws. So they can have a little bit more sharper edges. They can have things on a little bit more of a precarious hinge, making, bends and turns a little bit sharper. So they're going to get away with a little bit more than mainline stuff. And that's just the way things work this way. But Charles, what are your thoughts on the Smash figure from Devil Savior?
I agree that this does look like a pretty good figure. I mean, even given I don't have really a affection for the movieverse aesthetic, but despite that, I think it's a good looking figure, and it looks very well articulated in robot mode. The dump truck mode looks pretty good, and the foot or leg mode looks pretty solid. So all 3 modes are pretty good. Although I don't know if this is an upgrade or a downgrade for long haul, given that in G1 he's the crotch. So I guess depending on your point of view, this is an improvement, or you're giving up your coveted very critical position in the centerpiece there.
In Revenge of the Fallen, he's a foot, so he can kick some ass. In G1, he was the ass.
One thing I'm noticing about this figure that I I do worry about is the waist. It looks like it's just basically 2 discs that swivel to form the waist. And I wonder if that's going to be a weak spot. Like, are we going to start hearing about people that have accidentally snapped something?
Okay, sure.
And broke it. I don't know if you see one of the pictures of him just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
The waist, it just basically looks like a few discs that are just there on a swivel.
Right. And I would hope that there would be a bar in there, something that the figure can kind of turn on that would make it a little bit stronger. But I do see what you're talking about.
Pretend you're Megatron and rip him in half like he's Jazz.
Yeah. Right. For myself, if I were to get this, it would be in long haul robot mode, maybe once, and then I would probably have it in its Devastator component mode for the rest of its time. Because it looks pretty complicated, right? I'm not going to really make too many bones about that. It's not a mainline toy, so the complexity is there. But yeah, it does seem like there's going to be some precarious bits on it here. The leg mode though is solid. That's the part that's probably going to have as much weight put on it. You do still see the center discs there, but they do appear to be locked in with some more pegs and such.
When you get all the stuff behind it too.
Exactly. So it really does look like it's secured. But
looking at the picture of the leg mode from the Hasbro version to this, they did a much better leg mode on this one as well.
Oh, this one, yeah. There's more to work with, I think.
Yeah.
Right? There's more plastic to work with, so you're able to lock things down more. Again, it's not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying you're looking at apples and oranges here, right? They just happen to be the same name. Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. If you wanted to spend more money, I'm sure there's no pre-orders up on this thing yet. But if you wanted to look at something that's going to cost you more money, if Revenge of the Fallen Devastator was your jam, like that was the thing that got you into Transformers, and you just everything you buy just kind of reminds you of that movie, and you wanted to really, you always wanting to get back at that movie because that's your G1. First I feel sorry for you. But but secondly,
I think you're speaking directly to Eric Crownover at this point.
Possibly, but secondly, I just I have respect for the fact that this is your thing. Everyone's G1 is going to be something different, and if this is your G1, then go for it. If Studio Series is good enough for you, fine. If it's just lacking there something. You want a little bit more complexity and you've got the extra cash to spend, there's something else for you. But yeah, I'm pretty interested to see this thing in its full, Devastator mode, balls and all.
Now, Daryl, you're already committed for the Hasbro Studio Series Devastator components.
That's right. Yeah.
Are you looking at this one or planning to go in on this one?
No, I'm good for the Studio Series one, mostly because of the fact that I'm not that interested in the Revenge of the Fallen Devastator. Like Devastator as a character was always something that would interest me, and when I did see the Revenge of the Fallen movie, I was impressed with the size and just the monstrosity that they produced in the movie, and just the idea that it came out as a toy was interesting. Now, after seeing the toy, I was disappointed in the fact that it was just a mess of unscaled or improperly scaled things that were just kind of put together just to make the thing look like it was in the movie. The way that they're doing the Studio Series one, I've really got a lot of respect for it. They're really going about it the right way. They're adding 2 more figures to the pot here, but they're making it how they need to make it. So I'm pretty impressed with that. This, on the other hand, is for the fan of the next level. Would be the masterpiece to the mainline collector. The Generations collector. So you're going to go the next step, and that would be That's not my level of interest in this figure. I still think it's cool though. I do have one more thing to talk about, and that is Studio Series Devastator. We have some pictures of the prototype that were on display at Dutch Comic-Con. I was hoping it had a different name, but it's literally just called Dutch Comic-Con. So yeah, this is a very similar version, if not the same version, that was on display at London Comic-Con, which was a few months ago. So this is the Studio Series version that's basically got Mixmaster has got like a bunch of blue plastic on it. Looks like Long Haul, Scavenger, and Hightower. Maybe I don't know which one of the yellow arms. I don't know what name he is, but he's in his proper like release colors. But everybody else is in prototype plastic. I mean, there's some purple there. There's more blue. Like there's a lot of different colors going on here. But yeah, so you see a lot of prototype plastic going on. But you get the size. That's the whole point. Is you get the size and the scale and how everything kind of fits together. And that's really the point here. But yeah, it's just interesting to kind of see it all put together, and that it actually does stand on its own without any assistance. So yeah, that's kind of neat. Do either one of you have any comments on the look of this monstrosity?
Like you were saying, if it's your jam, it's great that you're getting this. A lot of this stuff isn't painted yet on here. I'm sure it's going to look as good as it'll look, but yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I just noticed all the picture captions on TFW say Studio Series Devastator at Kutch Comic Con.
Yes. Yeah. Kutch. They really do rush into their pictures uploading, right. Don't they?
Yeah, they also don't take out the blurry pictures
No.
We love you, TFW 2005. Don't get us wrong. We get 90% of our coverage from you.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all I brought this week. Yeah, it's interesting about a little bit of Devastator news. But Jeremy, what have you got for us?
I have new Flame Toys figure, the Furai model series Drift. The Flame Toys site their Facebook group has put up some images here. This looks really good. It's IDW accurate Drift. He's got the swords, and you have like a lot of white plastic pieces to deal with, whereas like the Optimus Prime, you get a good amount of red and blue and stuff. This is mostly white just because the Drift is, but he looks really good. If you're into these model kits, this is looks like a great add-on. At New York Comic Con, I saw I think it was the non-model Drift that they had. That was okay, but this is more of the IDW styling. And are either of you looking to get a Drift?
I still need to get that Megatron. That's probably the one I will. I'm probably not getting more than one of these model kits, just because I'd like to put it together at some point. I don't know if I'll have time to put more than one together. But this does look good. I mean, so is the other the first picture they have is with the Kuro Karakiri? I guess that's just the action figure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like $300.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the comparison, it's not, I mean, it's a little bit smaller, it's just a little bit less detailed, but it's still pretty nice compared to that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with Drift, you don't have that many different versions to come from. It's mainly the IDW. There haven't been any real other versions.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Daryl, what about you? What do you think?
I think it looks really cool. I almost started putting together my Optimus Prime this week. I just never got a chance to really start it. I did get my my little set of nippers up here and was prepared to start cutting out plastic. I do have this one, and if you remember way back, I also have a Starscream. So I'm already 2 behind. So I don't want to get too far behind on these things. Plus, once I'm done, I have to put them somewhere, and I'm out of shelving space. So something has to be done in the room here. I'm trying to figure it out, but I like it. It looks really cool. It is really close to what you would get if you paid the big bucks to get the real one. So I think it's really cool. If you're a Drift fan, then yeah, go get it.
Cool. Yeah, well, that is all I have this week. Charles, what do you have?
All right, I've got some Legends stuff coming up. So first up, Newage has thrown their hat into the Seeker ring for Legend scaled G1 Seekers. They've got all the Seekers there, all the core 6 Seekers. So we've got the original Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, plus the Coneheads, Ramjet, Thrust, and Dirge. All with their, non-trademark infringing names. So you can check the link to see what they are. I think, just looking at these, they look very detailed. They all come with a bunch of accessories. Starscream, of course, comes with the Coronation Kit, but they all come with little stands and different sets of hands and other stuff. They come with you can mount them mount them all in jet mode to pose them in different ways. Each Seeker has a different head sculpt, so they're not just like the Thundercracker and Starscream are not just straight repaints of Thundercracker and Skywarp, I should say, are not just straight repaints of Starscream. They each have a different head with a different face and expression, which is cool. And the Coneheads also have each have different expressions. And my only quibble with these with all of these figures is their jet modes just look a little bit out of proportion. Like their fuselage just looks a little bit too long for each jet mode, but like compared to their wingspan. But other than that, I mean, that's a really minor thing. But other than that, they all look really good, and they look really posable in robot mode. So, is there space on your shelf for more Legends class Seekers? I know Iron Factory just came out with a bunch of Seekers last year, and so can you do for more Seekers? Is there always room for Seekers? Daryl, what do you think of these guys?
I really like them, Charles. I really do.
Yeah.
The fact that their purple stand that comes with each of one of them actually is a piece of a combined playset that turns into the space bridge. Mm-hmm. Is just the coolest thing. Nobody's ever done that, so it's another thing. Other places have, other companies have tried to do, things that'll make you buy the whole set because it's a repaint of the same thing you just bought, right? But what are you going to do to get the rest of them? So another one of the, I think it was Iron Factory did the Ghost Starscream, and then they did another one, or I think it was Acid Storm or something like that. So you had to buy, the first 3 Seekers were giving you pieces of Ghost Starscream, and then the second 3 gave you pieces of Acid Storm or something like that. This is pretty cool how you get another, another piece of a playset that doesn't nobody's ever gotten before. Plus all the accessories, like holy cow, that's a lot of accessories. That's 2 different sets of hands, some blast effects, some stuff to put off the feet so it looks like they're flying. Obviously the 2 different types of missiles, or you got the arm guns, and then you got the missiles for in jet mode, and then all the stands and stuff that you were talking about. That's a lot of stuff, man. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, it would be nice that if you were to get them, then you get another figure. But, I mean, with Iron Factory, you're right. I bought Starscream for Iron Factory. So I'm sitting here on a torso for a Ghost Starscream that I don't have the rest of, So I'm sitting here with nothing else to do with this thing. So, I would like to have something, because even if you bought one, you're still getting all these accessories plus a stand. So, I like them. I mean, and I do see the quibble that you have. That's something that I could probably get over pretty quick. It's not as glaring as some of the other issues that we see quite often. But I like it. Newage is really, really starting to bring their A game here, and I mean, maybe not even bring it. They've been bringing it since the beginning. So they may be unseating Iron Factory as the new king of Legend scale.
Yeah. I wonder, do you know, I don't have a sense of what the price is on these guys. I imagine it'll be a little bit like maybe like 40 per piece. I don't know.
So the cone heads are being sold in a set of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $145.
Oh,
for the set
okay.
of 3.
Okay.
And Starscream by himself is $50. Thundercracker and Skywarp are each by themselves as $50 a piece.
Okay.
They're all up for pre-order right now. Sorry?
You're only saving $10 by getting the cone head set.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, at least it's a savings, right? So, I mean, the cone heads are just historically the kind of I can skip these guys kind of set, right? So they want to make use of the mold, but and they want to get their most money out of it, so they're going to sell it instead of 3, but they are going to give you a savings. So that Starscream or Lucifer, that's a gorgeous figure.
And of course, with the Coronation kit, that makes the Starscream figure a better value because you're getting a bunch of extra pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on these guys?
I mean, I got to agree with both of you guys. This thing, they look great. I see what you're talking about with the plane modes seemingly being a bit too long for the size of wings they have, but that is a minor quibble. I love that the little display stands can like clip onto each other, so they have like 3 planes being displayed off of one plastic stand, because the clear plastic parts can just kind of mount together with each other. And I think it just gives you so many different options to display these things. So these are really good. The price is just the only issue. It seems like it's a bit too high, especially for the cone heads, where, like you said, you're pretty much going to get them because you're completing the set.
All right. Well, I do have another Legends figure to talk about, and this is from Iron Factory. And this is Iron Factory's EX-39D Dust Fog. And this is an Exhaust figure, which Exhaust is the Diaclone repaint of the Wheeljack figure. So interesting that they're I guess they did do a Wheeljack recently, so I guess it's just a repaint of Hex Wrench that they did just recently. So and looks like this is going to have a limited run of 1,999 pieces, and likely will be an exclusive at SGC in mid-December. I'm not familiar with, do you know what
SGC, that's the
Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, then it's probably less likely that we'll be able to get this guy, but if you're that into Wheeljack repaints, you can check this out. It's a really nicely done figure. I mean, the Wheeljack, the Hex Wrench figure was already nice, so just repainting that to the Exhaust character.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. Jeremy, any thoughts on this guy?
I mean, I like it. I think with the previous versions of Exhaust, the way that the head visor was, it always seemed weird to me, but I really like how they did it here. It kind of has a sci-fi look to it. I don't know. I mean, it looks great. They always do great figures. I'm seeing that some people are saying that they're seeing pre-orders on some sites that like TF Source that gets some of these conventions exclusives. So
hope is not lost if you really want this guy.
Yeah, if you really want it, they might have, like, if it doesn't sell out, you might be able to get it somewhere. We know the controversy around the Marlboro stuff with the like the Masterpiece one and all that. So it doesn't surprise me that they're just going to do a limited run of this.
Mm-hmm. And I like how they did change the logo slightly on the card to Marlboro. Right. Not quite so infringy or endorsing smoking.
Right.
Daryl, any thoughts on this guy?
Oh, it's a good-looking little figure. I remember with the Masterpiece one, it was, I mean, people were clamoring for that figure just to get it before it was recalled, I think, or whatever the hell was going on with it at the time. I think it's neat. Personally, I mean, I prefer the Wheeljack version just because, but it's still pretty cool. I like the way it looks. The robot mode looks pretty badass, and I do have the Wheeljack version, the Legends class version as a by, I think it's Toy World did one, and it's like Uber G1. This one being Iron Factory is a little bit different of an aesthetic. So, I mean, if I were to pick this guy up, it would still be like the same design, but a different aesthetic. So it would look pretty good, next to the Wheeljack. They'd look pretty different. So I don't know. I like doing stuff like that. Same character or same design, but different design. That kind of thing. I don't know. It's I like to try and change up my my aesthetics when it comes to that kind of thing, just to change the way they transform and that kind of stuff. It kind of makes it fun. But yeah, it looks good.
All right. Well, that's all our main toy discussion. So we'll finish up the toy section with some rapid fire toys.
Absolutely, positively, definitely. Nobody can get the job done faster than I can. Nobody.
All right, in rapid fire today, we've got a couple of sightings for everybody. So we've got War for Cybertron Siege Wave 5 Micromasters. That's the cassettes Rumble, Red and Black, and Ratbat. They have been found, as well as the Battle Squad Combiner Direct Hit and Power Punch. So they've been detected at some U.S. retail. That was at a Target. They were seen at Target. So if you've got a Target, go and look at that in the U.S. And also, they've been seen in Canada at a Toys R Us. The people of the U.S. can remember Toys R Us, but us in Canada, we can remember Target because we had those at one point. We got also a sighting for Wave 5 Deluxe class figures. This is for Crosshairs and Spinister. They are starting to show up. They are in a Walmart in Wisconsin. Jeremy, you should go get that.
I will go look. Oh, they're in Milwaukee. I'll drive a couple hours to go see
same state. Also, for War for Cybertron Siege Astro Train, he's starting to show up everywhere. So let's get a quick peek on whereabouts you can find him. So if you are in the U.S., Siege Astro Train has started to show up at Walmart. So go and take a look at that. And also, he's been spotted at a couple Targets as well. So also, he has been seen in Canada at a Toys R Us. And if you are in Australia, then take a look at Toymate Majura Park, Toymate, and that's in Canberra. That's it for our rapid fire section.
All right, well, let's move on to some trips to the store. This is where we show off all the cool Transformers merchandise we got this week. We do this as a video that you can see on YouTube, and you can check out everything we got in beautiful high definition. Of course, we will also put the audio right here in the show so you can listen as we describe everything in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got. Jeremy, I'll start with you.
As I mentioned before we started recording, Charles, I got nothing this week. So I will show off this thing I've shown off before. Got it from a loot box, and it was sitting on my desk. So put me on the spot. This is what I'm going to show. And this is a business card holder. It's got a cover of a classic Marvel comic. What's number's not there, so Charles, you're going to have to tell me what's
number 7.
Number 7.
No, that's 10. That's Devastator. That's issue 10.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to fight it out.
It is. He's right. It's 10.
Okay. Inside I do have business cards as they're falling out.
You had business cards.
Yeah. I've got, one's for me, one's for the show. That's it. You put me on the spot. That's what I got.
All right. Sorry, Jeremy, but I thought you were just going to say I have nothing, so move on. But okay. I also don't have anything this week. So I pulled something out of the vault. These are some custom-made keychains that I picked up at a TFCon. I think it might have been TFCon 2018. These were made by Tori. She's in the UK. She comes over to the TFCons pretty regularly. And these are nice little custom artworks. One is, they're kind of like pixel art here. One is Nautica and one is Fulcrum from the IDW Lost Light / More Than Meets the Eye series. And they're cute. I like them. Here they are. So
cool.
That's what I got. I can't remember if I showed them before, but if I did, sorry. Drag up the episode number where I showed them before and yell at me for that if you want.
Shame. Showing something you've already shown.
It's not a Metroplex, but All right, Daryl, you're going to have to carry the show for us. What do you got this week? As
usual, I don't remember if I showed this off or not. This is Transformers number 14. This is, I think I might have, but this is a pretty cool cover. So yeah, I have no idea if I showed this off before. Probably did, but anyway, I have that. Just stash that over here. I picked up I didn't pick up. I've completed a Beast War figure, and it's it's my aunt, Inferno. So this is Beast War Generation 1 Beast War.
Why are you leaving off the S?
Well, it's the first war.
Okay. The first Beast War.
Yeah. So this is
it's a G1 Beast War.
G1 Beast War, yeah. So this is Inferno from G1 Beast War, and he's pretty cool. He's got all of his missiles and legs and all that BS. He's fun, and So I don't know. The some of these figures were kind of fun. The head, I think every single one of them I've ever seen, the head is really like dangly. So can probably fix it, but yeah. I really don't care to.
Makes you remember the days where plastic was plentiful in the toy.
Right. Yeah, there's tons on there. But I did pick up this guy this week. This is a brand new figure, and I got him at my local comic book shop. This is Siege Apeface.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's getting around out there, and I just have him here in his robot mode. I've added the effect part on here. From one of the other figures, it works pretty well. He's pretty fun. The headmaster is pretty tiny. Works apparently is the same size as the last one. I have my others packed away in a box, but it looks a little smaller. Anyway, that at least the head part does, but. Yeah, I don't know. It works. I like the joint that they have for the head. It's really tiny in there, and then when you get the head in there, it does swivel inside the joint. So, yeah, I like it. My daughter was messing with this thing yesterday, and she was able to get it back into robot mode. The 8 mode in this is actually pretty complicated. So. I give him props for that, for actually having a complicated, Voyager figure. But no, it's pretty cool. There is quite a bit of damage on him, the paint damage, paint wear. So the shins on the legs, they're both all covered in damage. And then if you go into the jet mode or whatever, up on the nose cone here, that's all damaged there. Yeah, and then on the shoulders as well, right up on here, there's more damage. So there's quite a bit on this guy, which is unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? And also because of the way that his shins are, there's a lot of detail work in there. It's gonna be pretty difficult to get off. But yeah. Anyway, CG8 face is pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people talking about the way that the plastic feels, and I can totally understand that. A lot of people have been saying that the white plastic is like a milky plastic and is more of a soft plastic than like a hard plastic. And yeah, I get it. I definitely see it. It's definitely a milky white. It's kind of it. You'd almost think it'd be transparent, but it's definitely a lighter. It's like a lighter plastic, and it has a different touch to it. It's like a soft plastic. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be as strong as previous versions, or maybe it's going to be more malleable. Instead of bending on or breaking on pins, it'll just kind of bend a little bit. So that's yet to be seen, but it's still a pretty good figure as far as design wise. Yeah. It's definitely got a lot of pins in it, though. So I'm happy to see the return of the pin. Anyway, CJ face, pick them up.
So in G1, didn't the head turn into the ape mode head too? Or how does it work in the new figure?
Well, it's kind of half and half. So you've got the regular ape face head there. And then if you turn it around, you get like the top half of the ape face head. So the actual ape the ape head is on the back, and you plug the head into that to give you the full ape face head, or the ape head.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not a big enough like headmaster to actually give you all of it. So, and I mean, you could put it the other way around and give you kind of like a weird kind of like visor face for the robot mode. And it looks kind of cool, but yeah, if you wanted the proper face, you just turn it the other way around.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with some feedback. All right, so we got an email from one of our newer Donatrions, Will, and he sent us a couple of questions. So one question was about toys, so we're going to answer it here, and then the other question was about comics, so we're going to answer that in alt mode this week. So stay tuned for that in a couple of days. Listen to that while you're in line for Black Friday. All right, so Will asks, so I'm wondering, what was the first Transformers toy you ever got, and do you still have it? Loving the podcast as always. Jeremy, why don't we start with you?
I'm not sure if it's the first one I've got, but it's the first one I remember getting, and that is the Devastator gift set. And I might have had like an Optimus or a Bumblebee before that, but I just can't remember. But I do still have it. It is not all in, like, I know, I think it's long haul. I don't know, whichever one is the waist is kind of broken into two pieces.
Oh.
But I do still have them all. They have gotten lots of play, so like all the joints and stuff are loose and stuff. But
all right, Devastators, and it's a good choice. Daryl, what do you have? What do you remember? What your first Transformer was?
I don't remember what the first one was specifically. I can remember having numerous Skywarps. And Skywarp may have in fact been my first one, but I had him pretty early, and I can remember having Skywarp taking him to school and losing him there, and then getting another Skywarp, and then something happening to that, and going through at least 3 Skywarps. But Skywarp might have actually been my first figure. Like Jeremy, I had the gift set as well, and that came fairly soon after. But It might have been Skywarp, I think. Thinking back, I really don't have a lot of like early Transformer memories. Definitely don't have a lot of pictures, but yeah, it's I do have a early recollection of Skywarp mishap.
Poor Skywarp.
Oh, definitely still don't have that one because it was gone.
Yeah,
I've bought one since though.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, Christmas 1984, I asked for, I would love the show. I was watching it from the beginning. I was really enamored with Transformers. I asked for a bunch of Transformers for Christmas. Transformers were sold out everywhere, so my parents kind of failed, and I got Huffer for Christmas that year. Kind of like Optimus Prime, just a little bit smaller. So I don't have that original Huffer that I had, but I have picked up a Huffer in recently to give to my kids because they're, it's still just a mini-bot, and mini-bots are still cheap. You can find them at most conventions, and they're good. They're good starter toys to get to play with for kids. So yeah, I have fond memories of that Huffer. But yeah, he's not an Optimus Prime or a Megatron.
Hey, he helped Optimus when he needed it. He took the load.
He did. So those are our early Transformers memories. Will, why don't you let us know what your first Transformers toy was? You didn't mention that in your email. Mm-hmm. So. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, so let's talk about some toys.
Cool.
You didn't hear that?
Nope. Not at all. It's okay, Jeremy. We can fix it in post.
It's not okay.
Don't worry about it. We'll fix it later. That's why we have a great editor. What's his name, Charles?
Mike Ordway.
There you go. He's pretty awesome.
I don't
All right, we heard that.
Okay.
Hey, that works. All right, Mike will fix it.
Well,
he fixes everything.
What he's going to do is put all the times on my track where it played every time in the outtakes.